Wow. I have to say I've never seen anything like this, and no matter what side of the fence you fall on, right? Florida State deserved to be in, Alabama deserved to be in. This has to be the most contentious, hotly debated thing we've ever seen in college football, possibly in sports. I don't think I've ever seen anything like this. Every college football YouTube channel, show, or whatever is talking about this right now. And there are people fighting in the comments section. It's definitely something. I want you to set that aside for a second, though. Whether you think Florida State should be in or not, Alabama should be in or not, set that aside for a second. And I want you to now think of this through the lens of running a business and getting people to watch and getting people to watch in the future. Providing entertaining television that people, when they're clicking through the channels, are not going to scroll past or click past. Josh Pate put out a video, 2 days ago. I responded to it in a previous video. One of the weaker, in his minds, one of the weaker arguments is something I've said, is that this is now WWE light. In his words, he called it WWE on grass. Why do people say that, though? Now, his counter argument is, well, a lot of people think Alabama should be in, so this WWE argument is silly. Therefore, it's incorrect. Well, a lot of people think, an uncomfortable amount of people think that the earth is flat, and all of them are idiots that I hope don't reproduce. So just because a lot of people think it, a lot of people think a lot of dumb things collectively. A lot of people think we didn't land on the moon. Doesn't make it true. Whether you think we landed on the moon or not, the number of people that believe it does not speak to it being true. Why do people, including myself, say this? What is the point of wrestling? It is to sell tickets. This is where the term mark comes from. And if you're not a wrestling fan, just bear with me for a second. But if you're an Alabama fan, you are by default a wrestling fan, most likely, and you'll watch. What's a mark? Your target audience. It comes from the carnival days when you went to pay. The guy taking your money would look in your wallet. He'd look at how much money you had. If you had a lot, they would mark you with a little piece of chalk. And then they would know you're the guy who has a lot of money. You're the guy that the carnival guys are trying to get the money from. Everyone who watches college football is a mark. You're a mark for college football. You're a mark for your team. You're a mark for your conference, right? It's the same thing with people that watch wrestling. That has nothing to do with the playoff committee thing, but there are a lot of similarities between how these two businesses are run. What happens in wrestling? You have a heel, you have a baby face. Heel, baby face. The heel cheats. The heel never wins clean. When the heel wins, it's because the ref's back was turned and he had a weapon that he pulled out of the stands and hit the guy with and he didn't see. Well, why is it set up this way? Because no one loves to see anything more than the a-hole, the heel, the cheater get what's coming to him, the face to go over. This is why the Attitude Era of WWE was so great. You had the anti-establishment Steve Austin, the babyface who wouldn't bow down to authority. You had McMahon, who's the most effective heel of all time, right? Setting things in motion behind the scenes. The whole point of that is to sell tickets. The whole point of that is to sell the pay-per-view. If the heel does something in the pay-per-view, it sets up the next pay-per-view, right? So think about what just happened in the college football playoffs. You had the face, Florida State, get screwed. Now, whether you think Alabama is one of the 4 best teams, I don't think it's controversial that Florida State got screwed in some way. They're an undefeated conference champion, and they got screwed. The College Football Playoff Committee just became Mr. McMahon, the Montreal screw job. Like, could there be a better lateral move analogy between what happened with the college football playoffs and the Montreal screw job with Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels? Bama just became Triple H, Mr. McMahon's right-hand man, the favored son, right? And the SEC kind of falls into that too. What does that provide for you? Entertaining television. We love to watch it. You know, if you're on the authority figure side, the SEC, you're okay with what happened, right? Yeah, we are one of the 4 best teams. If you're not on that side, man, they screwed them. I want to see Florida State. I want to see them beat the absolute crap out of Georgia in the Orange Bowl. It would not surprise me if for that reason the Orange Bowl has as many viewers as does the first round of the playoffs, either one of the games, Texas, Washington, or Michigan, Alabama. Would not surprise me if the Orange Bowl is as watched for that reason, because we want to see what Florida State's going to do, right? It provides entertaining television. It also sets up, so instead of having now 4 games that are viewed like that, you've created 5. You have the offensive showing, questionable with Michigan, of the playoff games, the 4 teams, and then, hey, the Florida State's quarterback went down, but they have a good defense, but I'm going to watch them play Georgia because I want to see if the playoff committee got it right, if the good guy can rise again. What else does it do? All right. First of all of that also brings in advertising, right? Advertising that's willing to pay more money, and it sets up next year. It sets up the next pay-per-view. And one last thing, this is how you get people who are not generally even college football fans or very casual college football fans, people, even potentially people who haven't watched college football before, to watch college football. This will probably be the most watched college football playoffs because of this controversy, because everyone's looking to see about the guy that got screwed and what happens. And they'll be watching that 12-team playoff next year that Florida State most likely will get into. And it'll make it even more watched than it would have been before. As much as I hate it, I can't deny, as a purely television product, it is genius. Y'all have a good one.